I'd like to call to order the Plainville Board of Education regular business meeting, Monday, February 13th, 2023. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Crystal, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to do a moment of silence for our student that lost his life this weekend. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to the vote for new board chair, vice chair. Do I have any nominations?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Rachel Buchanan as Vice Chair.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And I'd also like to congratulate Rachel, and I'd also like to welcome Roberta Loria. She's also our new board member. Now we're going to move on to our special presentation and reception.
I'll just do this from here, I think, and then we'll, oh, we all get to talk about you, Deb. Yeah. So due to, unfortunately, situations outside of board member Hardy, former board chair Hardy's control, she did have to step down from the Board of Education on, I believe it was January 19th, and is unable to continue in that capacity, hence our new sworn in today, I believe, Mrs. Loria, so congratulations to you on your appointment. I know you'll do a great job. Deb, I remember sitting down with you when I was in Dave's office and having a conversation. I was a brand new superintendent and you were the board chair, and I knew you, of course, before that when I was principal. You've been up on the board for 12 years now, just about 12 years. And just talking about kind of growing up and how you were raised and your aspirations of being a nurse, and how life can get in the way of some things, and stepping up for family. And so, I appreciate the perspective and the dedication you brought to the board. You've been as involved as you could be. You were in the schools a lot when you could be in the schools a lot, and then you weren't able to be as much. But you've been involved. You're at all the meetings, and you've been involved in the process of serving our kids and serving our town. So I want to thank you for your commitment. We have some gifts and whatnot, but I wanted to let anyone else, if anyone else from the board would like to say anything to Deb before we celebrate her and give her some gifts and have some cake and a reception.
I'd just like to thank you for your experience and expertise, and being there when we all were starting and leading us by example. Thank you, Deb.
visit anytime, and we do have a nice certificate for you, and there's a gifts and some parting gifts, and we wish you better health and better times ahead. And you'd always send me nice messages to thank me for things and tell me I'm doing a good job, so I appreciate that. You can still do that if you want. I'll still send you my emails if you like. It'll give you plenty of reading pleasure. I can definitely do that. If you're really bored, you can read them. So thank you again. All right, I'll get your number later, Deb. Do you want to take a break?
May I say something?
Oh, yeah.
sir?
I'm sorry. I didn't know
That's
if anybody. Yep.
Deb, I just wanted to say thank you as well, encouraging us to take our steps forward and go onto the Board of Education, and helping us to learn about our roles, and is very much appreciated. And I'm fortunate that my children were able to go to school while you were on the board, and all the time that my kids were able to meet with you, and was able to know that you were here helping. It was great, so I appreciate that. You're welcome.
Just to say we'll miss those candies. But thank you for all you have done for the board. Really appreciate
You can hear we arranged for some special fireworks, special parting fireworks with the weight room next door. They're all deadlifting over there. It sounds like fireworks happening, so. You want to take a brief pause? and
Take a
intermission?
5-minute intermission, Kevin.
We'll have a reception, five or so. Whatever you say.
laughing? Next, we're gonna move on to the approval of minutes. If I can get a motion to approve items A through F. If I can get a motion to approve items A through F, please.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the minutes of the regular business meeting of the Board of Education on January 9th. Also, the approval of the minutes of the January 9th Board of Education Curriculum Subcommittee meeting. Request approval of the minutes of the January 17th budget meeting of the Board of Education, as well as the January 19th, 24th, and 31st budget meetings of the Board of Education as submitted in our packet.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Okay. Roberta? Motion carries. We're gonna move on to the student rep report. Val?
Good evening. The past month has been full of excitement and achievement for the PHS staff as the second semester has begun. Students began course selection for next year through an advisory lesson in which they were given instruction on what to choose. My schedule so far is looking packed. Counselor meetings will be conducted later in the spring to finalize course requests and rough schedule outlines. Midterms took place the week of the 23rd, and students successfully finished the semester of studies with fairly high grades. My personal highlight was doing decent on calc, although a much more thorough review might be needed for the AP exam. Looking back, midterms concluded fairly successfully, and students enjoyed a successful season of studies. As previously mentioned, semester 2 has come to an end, and grades closed out and were well and truly finalized at the end of last week. The student-faculty game was held very successfully in the Wood Gym on January 19th. On Saturday, January 21st, the high school's robotics team participated in their first VEX competition. The robot was rebuilt the very night before, as well as on the morning of the competition, so there was some room for improvement the day of. The winter sports season is starting to close out with the indoor track and field participating in both the CCC regional competition as well as some state qualifiers. Most notably, Olivia Marechik, junior in my grade, was able to achieve a new school record for the 1,000 meter. The basketball season is shortly coming to a close for both the boys and girls teams. Students from MSP toured the high school on a school tour and familiarization last Friday. Prior to the showcase this coming Wednesday, I was one of the tour guides. Improvements did arrive for both VEX teams, as both were able to participate in the competition on February 4th, with the Judges Award even being secured by 15923A, my team. Students are looking forward to a slight February break that will start this Friday on the 17th. My personal plans are to go on a morning run and work with my team on my robot. The PHS Showcase is being held this Wednesday, February 15th at 6 p.m., and the PHS faculty and staff will be able to show off the best parts of PHS. This will include some pieces by PHS teachers as well as PHS clubs. Students have been enjoying videos assembled by our PHS Career Center regarding different perspectives of past PHS graduates on their careers and things they're working on to gather interest, as well as information for students looking to get involved with the careers. Looking ahead, the sign up for spring sports was sent out with tennis, outdoor track, softball, and baseball all being offered. The VEX robotics team will be participating in a competition this coming Saturday, which will take place in Massachusetts, as well as hopefully a regional competition for the New England area soon. The swim team season is also coming to a close with CCCs in states in the following month. AP classes are starting to near the end of their curriculum period and will soon be entering review in preparation for the AP test in the spring. And students are preparing for the SAT tests also this coming spring. And that concludes the student perspective.
I just wanted to, Val, you wouldn't be aware of this yet, but the open house for Wednesday has been rescheduled. We'll be sending messages out to the families about that due to our recent middle school tragedy. So that's going to be rescheduled to March. So we're going to inform families about that over the next day. It may have gone out this evening, but thank you very much. And congratulations on the VEX robotics successes already. Can't wait to see the robot after this.
Thank you.
I was surprised you didn't tell about the potential avenue to Worlds that you mentioned the other day. If you want to just give a quick, just a quick update on that, because I thought that was pretty interesting and exciting.
In addition to the in addition to the traditional VEX robotics qualification for the Worlds competition via a statistical spot in a regional competition, the Rec Foundation also puts out competitions for teams to collaborate and work on virtually, through which we were able to discover that there is a fully online coding competition for which the first place winner receives a qualification to Worlds. Only 6 teams have so far created submissions, and we are hoping to have ours in soon. And so we've been working away on that as of yesterday night.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you, Val. Great leadership.
Okay, next we'll move on to citizens' comments. Would anybody like to, does anyone have any comments that they would like to make? No citizens today.
Except the one who's going to speak next.
Deb?
Council Liaison.
We'll move on to council liaison.
Good evening, everybody. Please accept my sincerest condolences to the Plainville Community Schools family with the recent tragic loss of a middle school of Plainville student. Also, to the family, words cannot express my sympathy for you at this time. There can be no deeper pain. I am sorry. On to my town council report. Recently, we had a request for proposal, what's called LOTSIP, which is a grant proposal that the town typically applies for in order to do some work within the town, and it goes through CROG, which is the Capital Region Council of Governments for transportation improvements in the town. The engineering has identified a portion of Redstone Hill as a top priority for funding. A portion of Redstone Hill was done a season or two ago, but we now need to finish the rest of Redstone Hill. It'll cover approximately 2,300 linear feet from Town Line Road to Poitras Road in Bristol, and our town engineer is going to be working with CROG in order to get that paving done. So again, we continue on a rigorous paving program. These dollars come straight through the state. Actually, they come from the federal government to the state, and they become local dollars that are going to be spent. There will be no effect on our local funding for our road improvement program. We're also continuing to support our sidewalk construction program. Our engineering department is proposing to use approximately $240,000 to replace sidewalks in the Florence Lane area. These have been designated as considerably deteriorated, and we're focusing on those sidewalks throughout the town that do need particular attention. That will be taken care of. We are awarding the bid to D&P Moray Construction to take care of that project. We also had a public hearing regarding Honor Heights on January the 19th. Approximately 31 homeowners and residents were in attendance. This is in regard to the sanitary sewer installation project, which will begin most likely in the spring. Right now, the town is looking for easements from some of the homeowners. Hopefully that will be done in a short period of time, along with an easement from Mott Corporation and 23 Robidoux Road. So that project is coming along. Folks came to the council with some concerns and questions about where the laterals were going to be connected on their property, and the town will be able to make accommodations for those requests that the residents have brought to our attention. Couple of upcoming events. We have some events that are going to be happening at Robertson Airport. On April 30th, there will be a car show by Next Gen. The event will be in Hangar 1. There will be food truck battles by FestX Productions on May 20th to the 21st. This event will be similar in scope to the former fly-in event, and there will be approximately 40 trucks. There will also be a penny sale by the Plainville Rotary Club in early May. The airport will remain open and operating during all 3 events, and a portion of the money raised will be donated to local charities. The Airport Commission voted to approve all 3 events, and so those will be happening in May. We haven't had anything really out there since COVID, where lots of those large outdoor events hadn't taken place, but now we're going to start doing some of these things in Plainville again. So we're getting back. We're getting back. It's taking time, but we're getting there. We also had some more information regarding the White Oak development. It is ongoing. There's a supplemental assessment that Ty and Bond did regarding soil borings and water samplings. We are working through that. Attorney Mastriani is working to finalize the property title search. So hopefully, with all hope, it will happen. Things will start to move along. As part of the delay with this project has been with the state of Connecticut. We applied for a grant. Folks have left. It's just taking extraordinary long period of time to get some of these grants in place and to get the green light to go ahead and start doing the work. So we're getting closer every day, a little bit more progress. Hopefully we'll be there soon. We're also going to be working with the Connecticut Department of Transportation to the repair of 2 bridges for Crooked Street. Pre-construction meeting is in February. And hopefully construction will begin in the spring of 2023 with the completion of 2024. So when you see things happening over in that part of town, you know it's all part of a planned project by the DOT to get some of these projects completed. Also, Whiting Street is going to be repaved. This has been an area in Plainville that for many, many years has been in disrepair. And of course, timing is everything. We were able to get a grant as well from CROG to provide the funding to redo Whiting Street. I'm sure there are a number of people that have come to the council on a number of occasions to tell us about their concern with Whiting Street. So we are going to get that done. 2 more items. Some of you may have noticed on social media, some maybe not. The Plainville Hot Air Balloon Festival is going to be a go this year. The council is working with the fire company to try and make this happen. The dates are August 25th and 26th. There will be no Sunday event. It will be Friday and Saturday only. More information will be coming. However, I'm reaching out to everybody that volunteers are needed. So if anybody's interested in helping with that event, we'll certainly be very, very welcoming of any volunteers that would help us out. And on January 17th, Sergeant John Quilter was promoted to lieutenant at the Plainville Police Department. John has been with the police department for many, many years. He's very well known in town. He's very active in a number of different organizations. And that vacancy took place probably late last year. So we are now filling the vacancy that was formerly occupied. So we wish him well. He was happy, and I'm sure he'll do a great job. Does anybody have any questions for me? We'll be doing our budgeting in March, whole week. You're welcome to come. It's very fascinating. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. LePage.
Thank you, and I just wanted to share that the original agenda for my report was much lengthier. It included a special ed compliance report update. However, the latest data from the state was supposed to be to us by sometime in late summer or September, and we still haven't received it, so we're going to put that one off until the data is supposed to be coming in, or just recently came in, so we're going to move that to another meeting. Also, the other large report from my report was going to be held by the middle school administrative team, giving an update about the middle school and given the timing and what we've been facing at the middle school today with that team. We're going to postpone that to another meeting as well. So I appreciate everyone's flexibility. So I'm going to start with Mr. Ross. If you could actually go to the next slide, 28. And this is just for the board members who have been involved in the process, which is all of our board members, with the exception of Mrs. Loria, who did join the last budget meeting and was very attentive at that. We've had 4 budget workshops with the Board of Education, so a total of about 10 to 12 hours, and then of budget overviews, a series of questions and answers, both in person and also through the the shared form that we use that is a public document. So we respond to all the questions that come in, and it's posted to the response form, and then we have a whole budget page on our website that we've been updating with all of the presentations. I've done 4 presentations. I want to thank Sam Adlerstein, tremendously for the amount of work that he puts into it. We let Mr. Lewandowski be less involved in the budget because he's taking care of so many other things when I'm focusing with Sam on my budget all the time. So, but great partnership, and I appreciate their support. So for all those meetings and all the questions and answers, we were left with this final summary, kind of outlined in the purplish there. So just to give an overview, the first meeting on January 19th, based on our budget development that starts over the summertime, and a series of meetings looking at the budget in great detail with our instructional leaders, with their administrators, our administrators with our central office team, myself and Sam, and just going through the entire process of really reviewing every line item, then sharing all that information and object summaries with the board and answering questions. I came in with a 5.06% recommended budget increase at the first meeting. That did include rather significant health insurance estimation at that time that had been provided to us by the Director of Finance for Town of Plainville, Rob Uden. They were going to be using the same percent, which was 12%, was from what we were told to use from the brokerage that operates the state insurance plan. After that meeting, on the next day, January 20th, we did receive the next update to the insurance from the insurance expected increases, and it did drop to 10%. So that was included in the budget, and that therefore was able to reduce the budget, the board's budget, from 5.06 to 4.75, I should say, is my proposed budget, with that modification to the insurance. So just going through the lines, the budget for this year is $41,308,797. The 23-24 budget before health insurance change would have been $42,643,840. The dollar increase of $1,335,043, so 3.23%. When you factored in the adjusted health insurance of 10%, it's another $627,957. Total increase between insurance and all the other pieces of the budget was $1.963 million, for a total budget of 4.75%, or $43,271,797. As I explained to the board, some of the main contributors to the budget increase are contractual increases. We're in 85% personnel organization, so it's salaries and benefits for all the individuals that make our district operate at a high level. The other 15% are operating costs and supplies that, with rising inflation and increases in prices, along with contracts going up on the personnel side by our statutory obligations to negotiate contracts with all of our collective bargaining groups. That's the reason for the increase. Like everything else that you're seeing in our society has increased in cost. On the next slide, this just gives you, I've tried to keep this updated throughout the process. At the last budget meeting, that was really our last budget meeting on the 31st, but it was Norwalk came in with a 12.9% superintendent's proposed budget. The rest of them you can see around the area and around the state. These were the ones I was able to get a hold of, and I've heard of some other even higher ones as well since that time. So just looking at our surrounding towns, New Britain, Southington, is at 8 and 7s and 7.6, towns that are, comparable in size, like Rocky Hill. Every town has a different story and different scenarios that relate to their budget development. So, all things considered, coming in at 4.75 is, we're toward the lower end of where the town's superintendents are coming in. I'm not going to go, the next slide just gives a further detail on, budget projections that we had the joint meeting with with the town manager and just using the numbers that were provided by him, there's a lot on this page, but when you look at the eight different lines from the town's budget, factoring in the estimated, it was a estimate at the time when we did a joint presentation for the council and the board, about just under 2 weeks ago. The increase would be a 5.97% or 1.83 mil increase to the current. Last year it went down by 11.34%, or it went down 3.92 mil last year. So, you know, these were based on very preliminary numbers from the town manager and from Rob Uden, and including the Board of Education budget at 4.75%, and just showing that on an assessment, about a $200,000 property assessed at $150,000, 75% assessment value, it would result in about a $275 increase in taxes at the 5.97% increase. So it's just an overview of a kind of a snapshot in time. There's a lot more work to be done, obviously, as Ms. Puglisi knows, on the town side and the budget development, and we have our presentation of the budget on March 6th at the council meeting, and then the public hearing on the 9th. I think those are my next appearances with the council. But I don't know if there are any questions. I know this board has heard a lot, and we have posted everything and shared a lot of information about the budget process with families. So I'll stop there. If there are any questions about the budget, it'll be on the new business as an action item. By charter, the board's required to adopt a budget at the February meeting. So, you know, we've tried to give a lot of time and thought for questions and answers related to those questions. But I will leave it at that for now, unless there's any questions. I did want to give a Free Meals for All update. At my last Hartford Area Superintendents Association meeting, you know, we did hear from Matt Ritter, Speaker of the House, and he presented on a number of items that would be very favorable to Plainville. One of them being House Bill 5003, which would accelerate the cost, the educational cost sharing formula. Right now it's on a 10-year phase-in, and Plainville is on the good side of the phase-in. Some are being phased down. We're being phased in at spend about $200,000 per year. The latest projection from the governor's budget showed $238,000 each year for the next 2 years, which is benefit to the town. That money goes to the town to offset educational budgets. You know, if it's accelerated, if House Bill, if it passes to the next level and is adopted, it would result in the acceleration of the ECS formula in 2025 instead of 2029. So that money would come to the town much sooner for Plainville, 4 years sooner. So it's over a $600,000 benefit to the town. So we're really hoping that passes as bipartisan support. The other thing that he spoke about, among several other things, was that this was on a Tuesday, last Tuesday. On the Thursday, there was a special hearing to vote, or a special session to vote on extending free meals for all students until the end of this school year. That did pass unanimously by both the House and the Senate. I just wanted to share that because this group, our food services director Ashley Carl, Sam Adlerstein, who oversees our food service department, myself, had authored an op-ed for the newspaper about free meals and my experience as a lifetime free meal student, and how things have changed, but how the value of those free meals and the importance of free meals is incredibly important. So I shared testimony for the committee that was reviewing the free meals continuation. Our goal being beyond the end of this year, but you know, for now, it was good to hear that they were considering passing for the rest of the year at least, and then maybe a shared cost after that. What's more exciting, and I know Sam shared testimony. I know Mrs. Tyrell shared testimony, and Mrs. Carl. But we had 5 students, and I do want to share their names. They created a video, and I shared it with our administrators. I shared it with our board on Friday. And it's worth watching. It's about 6 minutes, but everyone in that session watched the video, and they said it was incredibly moving and powerful and impactful. It was 5 of our students who took the time. Todd Helming helped to film it. Lynn Davis helped to coordinate it. Ashley Carl was in the video and helped to coordinate it as well. They did an incredible job. It was professionally edited, and we had 1 day to put it together. We learned about this opportunity, I think, on Friday, and it was done on Monday by, I think, 3 o'clock. So Lily Farabend, Audrey Vandermark, Mason Rogers, Zach Hughes, and Bobby Wright were 5 students, and they were just unbelievable. Their honest and heartfelt messages about what having free meals has meant for them, not only for having a free nutritious meal when, you know, one of the students who comes to us through the choice program, he's getting up at 5:30 to get here on time, and other students who are just running around in the morning and trying to get to school on time. I have a teenager, I know what that's like, and you know, the fact that there's a healthy breakfast waiting when they come in, and there's a healthy lunch for them. Some of these students are 3-sport athletes, you know, they're not home very much, and you know, these meals are incredibly important. The other part of that is the stigma, that it was different when I was young. I had to go up to the line and say, you know, my name and I have free lunch. No matter, even if they knew me, I had to say it every day. They had it on a list. But now you type in a code, but there's a different stigma now that changed when it went to all free meals for everybody, because more and more students, about 22% more, 24% more, started to get meals instead of, it was about 40-ish%, and went up in the mid to high 60s. So it became less stigmatized. Before it was like, well, you're getting meals, you know, you must get free lunch. The quality's been increasingly better. Mrs. Carl does a great job. So we're just really we're grateful for the students and the staff members who stepped up to support. And we'll see what happens in the future. Matt Ritter, you know, wasn't optimistic it would continue to be free meals, you know, going forward after this year, but hopefully a matched or a shared cost that could be considered. So the next item, I just really a really quick one. We've had the strategic planning status and upcoming reporting calendar. I've been working with our strategic planning committee, our core team of staff, central office staff that worked on that. We started last spring. We've had several meetings. We developed goals for the district. Remember, this board were involved in the town, and we had a large and representative group, including a student, a parent, several parents. We developed goals, and then we turned those into objectives and an action plan. So at the next meeting in March, and then in June, I'll be presenting, and I'm going to invite the entire strategic planning committee to attend, who was involved in those sessions, an update on the progress toward those goals and objectives, and to show them the work that we've done. And then we'll do the same in June, and then again in the fall, on a every 3-month calendar, so that we keep regular updates on the status of our strategic operational goals for this district around those 5 core areas that we adopted. So look for that presentation in March. And my last update is regarding the MSP, you know, renovation, and looking at how we can update the systems there. And you know, if you know the renovation wasn't passed in June, so we're looking at alternatives to the full renovation. I did get asked by a group of parents to speak at the middle school the other night, and we did have a pretty good turnout of probably about 80 or so members of the community. There was, Councilmember Zorko was there. We had 4 board members who could attend, and a number of parents. It was kind of a last-minute request over the weekend. Would you be able to come in and talk to us on Tuesday night? And I couldn't Tuesday, so I did it on Wednesday night. We talked about 2 subjects: world language difficulties at the middle school that we're trying to bridge, given the staffing shortages of world language teachers, and then the middle school project, just giving them the background, the history, and where it stands now. Last week, Mr. Adlerstein and I met with town manager and assistant town manager with CSG, Construction Solutions Group, who did all of the workup for the application for the renovation project, consulting with them about another possible avenue that was told was being considered by the council as an alternative to a full renovation, where perhaps something like a $10 million project using a bond to complete as much of the critical systems as could be done, along with any possible state grants that we may qualify for, perhaps the roof, or really that's just about it, the roof. So you know, looking at that, where that, what that would look like, you know, CSG was just, they pointed out, and Antonazzi Associates, the architect, pointed out the complexities of doing a project-by-project type of a la carte approach to a building with comprehensive systems that all, or many, tie into one another. So if you say you're going to do the air handlers, we have 14 air handlers on the roof of the middle school, and that's an extensive project in itself. But then the roof, so doing one without the other, and then you know, the other facets of that work, the electrical, the contingencies that need to be built in for each of those projects. It's very complicated to, you know, to estimate, because we were hoping to get an understanding of what might be able to be accomplished for amount of money like that. And you know, from the perception I was getting from CSG, it wouldn't be very much. It might be the roof and a couple of other things, but because of the challenges of doing it that way, it's pretty comprehensive, and it would require a deeper look by someone who has more knowledge and ability to price that out than I do, and it would, you know, someone that would be impartial, such as a CSG. So I know the next meeting on the middle school, it's on the agenda for the 21st for the council to consider and to get an update. I know the town manager was going to meet, I believe, with the council members, or update the council members about the meeting we had last week. But I just wanted to give an update because I have been getting a lot of questions about, you know, where it stands and why it's where it is, and, you know, what can we do, and, you know, what are the options. So I'm just trying to provide as much information as I can, understanding that there are complexities and challenges to this project, and prices aren't where they, you know, we would wish them to be, but to do it one project at a time is going to be complicated to give an estimate without a lot more work from this Construction Solutions group to really dig deeper into that and look at what might qualify for a state grant, a sub-grant, and then the bigger impact of knowing that those big systems, if you complete a big system outside of a Renovate Like New grant, those items are no longer eligible for a renovation for 30 years, and the more things you have that are no longer eligible for renovation for 30 years, the less the likelihood of getting a Renovate Like New project. And if you wanted to consider one in 3 or 4 or 5 years, you know, chipping away at some of the big projects would eliminate that option. So there's a lot to consider. I shared what I could with the public. Hopefully it was informative. And there's a lot of variables involved, but that's where we are right now with the middle school. The middle school status related to renovation or maintenance project is what the CSG called it, instead of a renovation project, a maintenance approach of not adding anything new or making the building better in any way, but just updating some of the existing systems. So that's what a maintenance approach would do. Sam, anything else to add to that? Because you were involved in that meeting, and I'm not sure what else I can share about that. Okay. All right, and if there are any questions about any of those items, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Any questions? All right, we'll move on to the board subcommittee reports. Foster, Facilities and Finance Subcommittee report.
Yes, the facilities, as the superintendent stated, and finance subcommittee did meet tonight from 5:30 until about 6:45. We really looked at really 4 basic items. First, we did look at the ESSER update of the ESSER funds that have been expended on smaller projects that don't require board approval, and looking at those and the impact we had on that. We also reviewed 3 ESSER projects that will require board approval because they are for amounts exceeding $100,000. The first was the proposal for the air conditioning system for just the gymnasium at the middle school of Plainville, and that is still somewhat up in the air because there are some unknown factors that are still going to have to be dealt with We did look at one project that had to be cast aside, which was really going through a system, going through really the walls of the building, which have been a lower cost, but had the impact of structurally weakening those bearing walls. In addition, that would really reduce a lot of the, and create hazards for activities within the gym itself. So we did look at a proposal to put equipment on the roof. There are several factors that remain undetermined about that. One is whether the existing roof is going to be able to take the weight of this additional requirement. It's approximately twice the weight of the existing equipment on that roof. And also the power equipments for the new equipment also are unknown at this time, and it is also unknown whether the capacity in the MSB structure can take that. We also looked at the proposal for the really upgrading the pool in this particular building. A lot of that has not been done since really around the 2008 and before. There are conditions down in the pool that are requiring for the drainage around the pool that need replacement, and the work to also replace the benches in that particular area, and also the painting and bringing that with an enamel paint, bringing that the color into the PMS colors are similar with the rest of Plainville Community Schools. And in addition, display monitors also to be put into MSB. It is the only of the 5 schools that does not have the interactive display modules. These, if any of you have been in a classroom recently, these are really a very essential and effective classroom tool. And these are excellent. Now, just to go back, all of these 3 proposals will be requiring board approval, and that will be on the agenda for tonight's meeting, and is item F in the new business promotion. And basically, we're moving to approve expenditure not to exceed of $350,000 for the HVAC at the middle school. Expenditure not more than $120,000 to renovate the pool room in Plainville High School, and not more than $140,000 to exceed that cost for the monitors. All of those costs, really the costs we look at tonight were less than that, but there are always contingencies in these types of products, and so hope that will move forward under item F. Should there be any questions, we will try to happy to answer them, but we also have Steve and Sam here who will probably do better than my job than I do.
You summed it up really well.
Are there any questions? That then concludes my report.
Thank you, Foster. Crystal, Policy Subcommittee report.
There's no report.
Okay. And Curriculum Subcommittee report, Rebecca?
No report.
Okay, there's also no report for the Outreach Subcommittee, and we'll move on to the PAC Liaison for the high school. Foster?
There has not been a meeting of the PAC since our last meeting. The next meeting of the PAC is scheduled for March 8th at 7 p.m. in the Commons.
Great, thank you. Becky, anything for Taflon?
No report. Offline PTO did not meet.
Cassandra, Linden Elementary School?
I do not have an update right now for Linden.
Okay. And we'll move on to Crystal for the middle school, Plainville.
So the MSP PTC met last Tuesday night, February 7th. They got started with a group of parents discussing the 8th grade picnic, and it was the 8th grade picnic planning. And then they discussed some upcoming activities. So I know right now they're in the middle of their Five Below fundraiser. Because there's like a form, and if you go shopping there, they get 10% of the 10% from the purchases till the end of February. They had they sold Oreograms for Valentine's Day, and they're also doing a special treat the teachers and staff for MSP teachers and staff for Valentine's Day also. They also met, as Mr. LePage mentioned, on Wednesday, February 8th, where he presented about the MSP renovation options and also about MSP World Languages. And they meet again on Tuesday, March 15th at 7 p.m., I believe.
Thank you so much. And we'll move on to Wheeler Elementary School. Rachel Buchanan.
The Wheeler PTO was excited to share a check for $4,000 to Wheeler Student Activity Account. This account goes towards things such as field trips, like the trip to the New Britain Bees baseball games and assemblies. So great job, PTO. They had their annual Valentine's Mental sales, which the kids will receive their orders tomorrow, which will be fun and nice. It does not look like on the schedule there is a meeting for February. It's usually the third week of the month on a Thursday, though that is not the time off. It might not be on the calendar because of the time period. It looks like there is also not a meeting on the calendar that I can see for March. The next meeting looks like it's going to be on April 20th, but keep checking back in case that changes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Becky, is there any Craig Council report?
Yes, just the only thing of note is there is a legislative breakfast being held, Craig and Cabe, this Thursday, 8:45 to 10 o'clock. It's not really a breakfast. Apparently, there is no food service allowed. There is no food service at the Capitol. They're not providing food yet, and no food can be brought in because they have an agreement. So if you do attend, it's like a BYOB.
Breakfast.
I guess. So I just wanted to say that in case anybody's going. I kind of thought it was odd, but anyway. So it is taking place Thursday morning from 8:45 to 10 o'clock, and it is a lot of legislators come because obviously it's being held right at the Legislative Office building, actually at the Capitol, and board members from the Capital region here in Hartford, and a lot of us usually go up there, so just wanted to let you know.
Great, thank you. We have no unfinished business. New business. We'll move on to board open forum. Anyone would like to speak?
Very quickly, Madam Chair, I would just like to welcome Roberta to the board and welcome to have her. Interesting fact here is that she is a classmate of my eldest son at PHS. And so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I also wanted to welcome you, Roberta, even though you have that relationship with Foster there. I hope you don't hold it against him. And to say to Deb, Deb, we really appreciate all the effort that you put in. You worked hard. Deb went to so many meetings, and just really always was listening and always trying to do the right thing for children in the town. And we appreciate that, and now it's time for you to rest. Okay. Get to rest now. So, and I just have to say that I am not a really good person with email sometimes, and until I came here this evening and heard you make a motion for a moment of silence, I didn't know what was happening. So I just, my heart breaks a little bit for the Plainville community. My heart breaks a lot for the family and friends and those. This is very unfortunate that, in the 22 years I've been doing this, it's nothing new. But it's just not something that should ever happen.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to speak? All right, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to everybody here tonight because it's a very difficult time for all of us, more so for some than others. And for everybody coming out tonight to be here together as a board, it's a lot to be commended. It's been a very long day for Superintendent LePage, and I appreciate your leadership and the comfort you've provided to the Plainville Community School family. So thank you for that. And, you know, just like it's been said a number of times, we're here for each other. So if anybody needs anything from anybody, or you always feel free to reach out for help. So with that, just know that we're here, you know, on this journey together. So thank you again.
Thank you. We'll move on to, if no one else has anything else they'd like, excuse me, like to add, we'll move on to the quarterly special education cost report, which I'm saying there is no report. So then we'll move also the turf committee, no report. And Mr. LePage, we'll move to the requesting acceptance of the Board of Education's vice chair resignation as of January 17th, 2023. Items D, E, and F. Those are all separate, okay. Okay.
I think what you probably want a motion to accept the
Resignation.
resignation
Mhm.
of the board's vice chair. I need a second. I made the motion.
Is there a second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And then I'd like to ask for a motion to request approval of fiscal year 23-24 proposed BOE operating budget.
Madam Chairman, I request that the board approve the fiscal year 2023-24 proposed operating budget.
Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And lastly, we request the approval of 3 proposed school building projects and the approval to use the ESSER ARPA funding as discussed at the February 13th Finance and Facilities Subcommittee meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I made the motion. I need somebody to make the motion.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Sam?
Motion for the consent agenda, motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Oh, request of the approval to PHS trip. That's all, so items A through H.
I second it.
Can I have a motion to move as presented? Oh, Becky, you said it? Oh. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, board.
So this one is,
That's all.